All right. I'm live for another Q&A. While we're waiting for some people to get in the group, I will go over just a few things for everybody who's watching the recording. First, if anybody is interested in a Macros Inc. shirt, you can get those at macrosinc.net/shop. And second, if anybody is interested in coaching, this will come up probably again in a minute. If anybody's interested in coaching, that is macrosinc.net/services. So I will put that on in here. Hey, Keith. Inc.net. For shirts. Hi, Alex. So those will be in the comments. I'll refer to them in a little bit. While we are waiting for some people to get in here, I have a couple things that we can talk about so people in the recording can see. So one of the questions that comes up a lot, and I think people ask, is, do I need a coach? And the answer to that is maybe. Do you need a coach? Maybe. I have a coach. I use Peter Fitchin from Fit Body and Physique. Brad Morgan, currently, I think he worked with Scott Stevenson previously. He's now working with somebody from Stronger You. Currently, I'm coaching Kelly Carpenter. All of us know what to do for coaching, but having that outside view really helps with being able to determine what you want. For me personally, I think way too much about my programming. I can't stick with a program that I designed because I nitpick it, and I try to make it as perfect as I can, and then I get kind of lazy and sloppy with it, and then I want to do this, and I change my mind too much. So having somebody else do my programming takes my mind off of it. I just go, lift heavy things, report back how I did. And I also have somebody to be accountable to. That is huge for me. I'm one of those people that if I'm paying for something, I am definitely going to utilize that. If I'm not paying for coaching, I'm just going to work out. That's when you're, I'm tired. I worked hard, long day at work, or I don't want to get up early and go lift. 4,000 excuses. But if I have to check in with somebody and tell them, oh yeah, I skipped 5 out of 6 days of working out today, it's going to be a little bit different. I think everybody kind of understands that. So if you're interested in coaching, our coaching link I just posted, it's macrosinc.net/services for our coaching. I recommend everybody look into it. We have accountability coaching. It's $74 a month, and that is your nutrition programming. If you're good with your own lifting, one-to-one coaching is $149 a month with the 3-month minimum on both of those. Hi, Janice. So if anybody has a question, feel free to type them. I was just kind of killing time until we built up some people in here. I have a couple other topics if nobody's asking questions. So if you have a question, ask. I will just keep on going. So the other thing I want to talk about is a question that just came up in the group this evening, a little while ago, was recalculating macros. When do I recalculate? So Alex, I'll get to your question in a second. So one of the questions coming up is recalculating macros. When do I recalculate my macros? You don't recalculate. If you already haven't calculated, don't recalculate. You may need to adjust them, but there's no need to recalculate. You really only need to use a macro calculator one time. It doesn't even really matter if it's accurate. You try it for a couple of weeks. If it doesn't work, then you make adjustments based off that. So when do you adjust? When progress stalls. If you're not seeing progress for 3 to 4 weeks, depending on who you are and what you're doing, then we need to make an adjustment. So if you need to adjust, an easy ballpark blanket statement recommendation is to drop 100 calories. And you can do that really easily. Keep protein the same, drop carbs by 20, fats by 2, or if you're bulking, increase by that amount, or decrease by 50 and add another 30-minute day of steady state cardio in. Something simple, but you don't need to go to a calculator every single time you're adjusting your macros. The calculator is an estimate. That's all it's there for. Even though it worked, I made it. Hey, Beck. Beck is in all the way up, working in Australia, and she got here, so nobody else has an excuse. So Alex Dedman, one of our moderators in the group, had said, to clarify, can clients specifically request a particular coach, or are they randomly assigned to coaches here? Yes. For the most part, it's random. We have an order that we go to, a rotation just to kind of keep it fair. But different coaches work with different people. There's a cat in the background, if you can see that. I personally don't do a lot of cardio. I won't work with people who are just runners because it's not something I have experience with. I prefer to work with competitors. So all of our competitors, I believe all of our competitors, currently working with me. So if we can get you in because you specifically fit with somebody, we will. But otherwise, it's random for most people. And we haven't had an issue with it yet. Hi, Dennis. Pat Nixon. I just want to know if you have any other tips for recovery besides food and sleep. No. Creatine will help you with basically everything. Help you with your workouts, make them a little more intense. That's really it. Yeah, take enough days off in between working out. Take a deload. If you are working out 6 days a week and you've been doing that for 5 months and you are a natural, non-enhanced person, you're not going to be able to do that for long. I would probably go 5 days a week, depending on what you're doing, weightlifting, 5 days a week. And then don't do these 3-hour, twice-a-day gym sessions for somebody who's natural. You're not going to be able to recover. Keep it simple, 60 to 90 minutes, 4 to 5 days a week, and that's it. And take a deload. If you've been working out for 12 weeks and you're starting to get sore, take a week either completely off, or what I prefer for people to do is keep your intensity the same, keep your weight the same, but cut the sets down, cut them in half. So basically just cut your volume in half for a week, same workout, and then start a new program after that and keep on going. Hi, back. Oh, sorry, please don't call me. So it's just Patricia. Okay, sorry. It's hard when you're on Facebook. I will never do that again. Go back in time and be 20 again. Yes, go back and be 20 again. Just don't kill yourself in the gym. If you are working out for 3 hours, I was just talking with Helen Perez the other day, and she was weightlifting at home and then going to do CrossFit. And she does CrossFit, I think, 5 days a week and weightlifts an additional 2 or 3 days a week to get bench in. And that's a lot of volume for somebody who's natural. So Helen looks great. She's ripped. I would say she's the rarity that can pull something like that off for as long as she has been. So anybody else? All right. Let's see. What else do I got to talk about? We can keep on going. I got fun topics. Let's see. We can talk about fat minimums. That was a question that came up just a few minutes ago. Susan, I'll get to you in 1 second. So fat minimums. There's no real set fat minimums. You just want to get enough essential fatty acids. So as long as you're getting a good ballpark is 0.25 grams per pound of fats. Now, a diet isn't forever, so if you drop below that, you're not going to die immediately. But if your fats during a diet are set at 15 to 25% of total calories, you're going to be fine. When you take a diet break, if you're dieting for an extended period of time, take a diet break, bump up those fats to maybe 0.35 grams per pound. If you were below that, just to give yourself some good fat. Take fish oil. The International Society of Sports Nutrition, the ISSN, recommends that you are getting 0.22 grams of DHA and 0.22 grams of EPA per 2,000 calories. So a good recommendation would be 1.8 grams of DHA and 1.2 grams of EPA per day. So the Vitamin Shop brand fish oil, that's 6 caps a day of fish oil. So that should keep your fats good enough for you. Let's see. And then Susan said, hi there. So for a deload, do you prefer cutting sets rather than cutting the weight? Yeah, I want to, especially if you're dieting, you want to keep that intensity up. So I keep that weight as high as you can, and your volume is what's going to determine load. Now, if you're a power lifter and you're working in your 1 or 2 rep max for your training block, yeah, you're going to have to cut down the weight during your deload week because you have been killing your joints and you've been lifting heavy, but the intensity should stay the same. You should still be lifting, pretty powerfully. Instead of being at like 90% one rep max, I might drop down to 65, but I'll try to keep like maybe volume equate if I can. It depends. I'm making a big blanket statement for an average lifter, for somebody who's, going, not lifting a competitive power lifter, for somebody who's training for hypertrophy, general fitness, the average person in a gym, a bodybuilder, then cut your sets down. I know Susan and I have been talking about programming a lot. So for something like with your goals, I would definitely just cut the sets in half. And you better be sorry that you were late. Anybody else? We get more people in the afternoon than we do for the evenings. All right, we can go over more topics. Let's see. Let's talk about protein per meal. How's that one? We can go over there. So protein per meal. A common question we get is, how much protein per meal should I be eating for optimal muscle protein synthesis? So the short answer to that is protein timing is minimally important when you're comparing that to your total daily protein intake. A more detailed answer to that whole thing would be just your protein ideally, don't freak out about this if you're not doing it. This is the 90% of the work to get you less than 10% of the results. If you can, distribute protein evenly throughout the day, something like 25 to 35 grams of high quality protein with 2 to 3 grams of leucine. That might be like 0.3 to 0.4 grams of protein per pound per kilogram per meal. So 0.3 to 0.4 grams of protein per kilogram per meal would probably max out muscle protein synthesis. Older men, you're going to need more. You might need up to 40 to max that out. So if you're older, aim for a higher range. You'll probably have a higher total daily intake. You might see older guys going up, instead of 1 gram of protein per pound, 1.5 grams. I'm not older, and I go at like 1.4 grams because I really like protein. So I would, you don't have to stick to that 1 gram, but there was and then there's been studies that show that compare 20 grams of protein versus 40 grams, and 20 gives you a really good return on your money. 20 grams of protein gives you a good return on muscle protein synthesis and building new muscle. 40 gives you a better response, but 0, 20, 40. So it gives you just a little bit better, maybe not worth it if you don't like protein or you don't have a lot of protein or calories for the day. You don't want to up it that much. There's also studies saying that 40 grams of casein protein for pre-sleep can actually give you a high muscle protein synthesis throughout the night. They also said that could be, didn't have to be casein protein. It could be a mixed meal, 40 grams of chicken, 40 grams of protein from chicken, or from some other meat source could do that as well. Any questions? 19 people in here. 13 minutes I've been talking. I got a lot of coffee still to drink. Nobody? All right, keep going. Let's see. If anybody did not see it, Kelly Carpenter made a video yesterday on weighing food. It's on our YouTube. There's a link in the group if you click on videos, I think, or if you search for me and Kelly, you'll see it. It should be the first topic. It's a link to the YouTube. Thanks, Thomas. But weighing food, weighing raw, this is, I don't know why, in the flexible dieting community, weighing raw versus weighing cooked is like the ultimate battle that people go into, and I don't know why. You weigh if it's packaged, you weigh it as packaged unless indicated otherwise. That's how it's supposed to be. So if you have pre-cooked frozen chicken, it is made to be weighed frozen. That is how it's packaged. If the only exception to things like this, and I've seen it both ways, but the most common exception is bacon. Bacon, I've seen it where it's packaged, raw, or it will say on there cooked weight, 2 cooked slices. which I personally think is a horrible way because a cooked slice is a big variable in there. But use as the package said. Otherwise, it's raw for things like chicken, beef, pork. Weigh the raw meat. Things like pasta, cereal, oatmeal, dry food. We don't want water in there. Whatever you do, if you always cook your chicken in the oven at 400 degrees for 60 minutes or however long you oven bake chicken, I don't remember anymore, be consistent. If there's an error in your macros, but you're doing it every day, that error is accounted for because you're doing it every day. Is it ideal? No, but it might be the most practical way for you to measure your food. Alex Dedman, James Smith, thought on calisthenics and what would you consider an easy way to track exercise calories? Calisthenics, like just basic group workouts. I mean, it depends on your goal. Every workout does. If your goal is to improve just cardiovascular health and that's it, anything that gets your heart rate up is good. If your goal is to be a bodybuilder, calisthenics is not going to be the way to do it. Your training needs to be specific to your goals. If you want to be a marathon runner and you ride a bike, you're probably going to fail being a marathon runner. So if that's in line with your goals, it's a great exercise. Whatever gets you moving and you enjoy is the most important part. What would I consider an easy way to track exercise calories? A heart rate monitor. That's going to be the most accurate thing that you're probably going to have. I think the most important question is why. If you have calculated your macros already, you have taken an activity level into account. So you don't need to recalculate to add back in calories. We don't eat back the calories that we use during exercise. It's already calculated in your macros. I hope I answered that, James. Alex, can we talk about what are considered valid sources when people ask to back up their claims? Great comment, Alex, and great question. So Alex is in a different field. He is a scientist, so Alex is kind of our resident. Your source isn't valid. Your research isn't valid. And we get this a lot. We just had it come up the other day. Data is hard to read. If anybody's read studies, my career outside of this, I teach advanced cardiovascular life support and read research, cardiovascular research all the time. And it's reading research is tough. Then when I started reading nutrition research, it was a whole different animal. So it's hard. If you're saying, oh, this is a valid source, and it's an article from Food Babe or from somebody give me a crap World Health News or Health Nut, Natural Health Nut, those are not valid sources. They're not peer reviewed. They're not anything. A good source is something that is, there are people who are good sources. I have a list of people who are good sources. There you can search for. I can't remember the tag. We have a searchable tag in the group too. CNN. Yeah, I would not trust anything from CNN either. Livestrong. Livestrong is hit or miss. 90% of their stuff is bad, but sometimes you get like one of their articles that's written by somebody who knew what they were doing, and it's good. Same thing with T Nation. T Nation has so many just shit articles out there, but then every once in a while you see some written by Brett Contreras, or you see I think Alan Aragon's written for him a few times. How did this get in there? So if you post something, most of the people in here will tastefully, hopefully, call it out and say, hey, this isn't valid. If you say, no, I found a source, we'll call you out on it. Let me post let me see if I can find this. Here's a link of people who are reliable sources. And then here is a list of websites that are reliable sources that we all put together. This was our original project before Macros Inc. It's a wiki that Alex, myself, Brad, and a couple others put together. Everything's been cited on there. We don't maintain it. We kind of put it into here, but those are all valid. So if you're looking for good sources, that's it. Alex, if you have anything to add, go ahead. My thought process on research is not as clear as most people's. I can not real great at explaining it. Speaking of research, maybe Alex answer this. Fitness has been along for such a long time. How come we're still confused like everyone? No concise theories on the best way to build muscle. Like, why hasn't science found a clear way to achieve peak human fitness? So the thing with nutrition, I was actually just somebody was just talking about this at the ISSN conference in October. Nutrition science is very new, really new as far as sciences go. Research is expensive. People don't always want to pay for things, and studies aren't really cheap. So if you're looking at people who it wasn't really popular, look at the research. Look at some of the bigger names that are just looking into things like hypertrophy, muscle protein synthesis. I mean, you're talking guys like Lane Norton who are just making it popular. Brad Schoenfeld is one of the bigger guys in this, and he's been doing research for a while, and his studies are just now becoming popular. So I think there was a lack of access, a lack of people who knew how to read it. And I think guys like Alan Aragon, Brad, and Lane have all gone out and made sure people understand how to read it. I don't think that they'll ever know a clear way to achieve peak human fitness. James, the ISSN just put out a couple new position stands on body composition and dieting. That is pretty much the greatest thing ever written on diets and why they work and why pretty much all of them work, because you eat less food. I'd highly recommend checking that out because that's kind of along the lines of what you're going for. Beck, if I spend one day a week not lifting weights, you should spend more than one day not lifting weights, Beck, but doing other exercises like band work, resistance training, body work, body weight exercises, etc. What does this do for my body? Grow muscle, tone, burn calories, provide strength, growth. So Beck is one of my clients. We brought her to the stage about a month ago. She did fantastic, looked lean as hell, did amazing, placed everything she did. So for someone like you, she should only be lifting 5 days a week, first. Second, band work, things like that. If you're trying to build muscle, you need to overload the muscle, progressive overload. You need to increase the resistance and the volume that you're lifting. Bands aren't going to do that. If you're traveling, is it optimal? No, but is it the most practical thing when traveling to use bands? Yeah. Can you work bands into a workout routine? Yeah. But if you have access to weights, especially with the goals I know you have, Beck, it's not, I wouldn't do it. I mean, can it give you just take a break, take a day off. There's no point in, if you enjoy it, work it into part of your routine, but don't get a whole day where I'm going to do a whole body band routine when the day before you were just squatting, your body weight for reps. That's silly. If you enjoy it, though, do it. It'll keep you active. I mean, burn calories, minimal, provide strength growth for maybe somebody who's really new to lifting, not you. Jessica, cutting and powerlifting. I just switched over from low weight, high rep to 5x5 past month. Looking to start a cut after Thanksgiving. Will my lifts be heavily impacted, and should I add in more cardio to try and keep calories higher? Ooh, good question. So I am the anti-cardio person of Macros Inc. Everybody else is really big into cardio. I'm not, because I just like to lift heavy things and not do cardio. I played hockey my whole life. Hate cardio. So dieting, depending on how big the diet is, initially your strength will not decrease. Eventually it will. It's just going to happen. One, you're going to lose some muscle when dieting. Two, you weigh less. Smaller people lift less weight. Your muscle is going to get smaller. You'll have less food. You'll have less energy. The goal is to lift as heavy of weight as you can for as long as you can. And once you see your strength, it'll decrease. Weight strength gain is not a straight line. You will go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and hopefully make progress. Once you see that strength starting to decrease for two weeks in a row, let's take a diet break. Add in some calories. Take a break for 2 weeks. Start back over. See if you can do that. Cardio, it depends, is what I would say. General health blanket statement, you should probably do some cardio for cardiovascular health. Are you competing in a powerlifting meet? Do you really want to do it? What's your goal? Is your goal, I want to win? I want to do the best I possibly can? Maybe don't do cardio. Do you have to make weight? Is it going to help your Wilks in a powerlifting meet? Maybe you do cardio to get lower weight a little bit, but you will, depending on the cardio, how big your deficit is, how much food you want to eat, how hungry you are. It depends. I do a little bit, but I wouldn't go nuts with the cardio because you don't want to risk losing too much muscle mass. Alex, thanks for taking care of that. I appreciate it. If you could, James, make another post. Alex, I'd love for you to address that. Michael and Rebecca Bills. Is there too much cardio during a bulk? I enjoy hiking, but I'm concerned with what's too much, 2 or 3 miles each hike. The only concern is that I make up the calorie burn. Rebecca. There's no too much. If you are hiking and enjoying it, do it. That's the most important thing. Enjoyment is the number one thing that matters with all of this. If you like doing it, do it. If you don't like it, do something else. You're not going to want to do something you don't like. If you like it, you're active. So if you're bulking, is hiking, you're active, just keep doing it. If you're running a marathon because you have to do cardio, if you're running 10 miles a day because you have to do cardio and you have to be active, but you're trying to gain weight and you're having trouble gaining weight, cut back your cardio. But otherwise, as long as you're meeting your goals, keep hiking, enjoy it. Back makes sense. I'll leave out for a whole session and focus on weights and incorporate them in that specific day. Thanks, Jay. You're welcome back. James, thoughts on thermogenics and fat burners? Since you hate cardio, does this mean you don't do any at all? Or do you add in walking or something like that? So whiskey in that coffee mug. Yes. No, there is no whiskey in the coffee mug yet. Thermogenic and fat burners. Caffeine. This is decaf, but I take in a lot of caffeine throughout the day. I try to get in about 6 milligrams per kilogram, 30, 40 minutes before I lift. I lift really early at like 3:30 in the morning. I wake up and then lift at like 3 or 3:30 in the morning. So I take a lot of caffeine in then. But as far as thermogenics, fat burners, you're going to burn a little bit with caffeine, but anything you buy over the counter in the U.S. is crap. If you can get a prescription, way different story. If you're talking illegal drugs or prescribed drugs, different story. But over the counter, don't even worry about it. It's not worth it. It's not worth spending your money on. Just increase the deficit, do more cardio. I hate cardio, but I don't do any. I've been bulking for 18 months at the end of it. I try to be as active as I can. I have a German Shepherd that I walk forever, every day. I don't really ever sit. If anybody can tell, I can't sit still a whole lot. I'm a fidgeter. So if you want to do cardio, do it. I would definitely try to get active. When bulking, I try to get around 6,000 to 8,000 steps a day. When cutting, 10 to 12,000, so I can avoid cardio. My resting heart rate is 42. And I don't do, and my blood pressure last time I took it was 94 over 54, 52. And I don't do any cardio. So I've always been like that though. Anybody else? Did I answer anybody's questions? Did I piss anybody off? Anything? All right, we'll wrap up in a few minutes. We'll keep going. We'll bring it up to 30 unless people start going. If people are asking questions, stay on all night. But we will wrap this up at 30. Just so anybody can type anything. Go right ahead. If nobody heard me say it before, it's at the very top link at this. You can get a Macros Inc. shirt at macrosinc.net/shop, or you can sign up for coaching at macrosinc.net/services, or you can send me a DM on Facebook, and I will get back to you. Georgina, I eat 1650 calories a day, can't lose weight, cut back 15, go to maintenance 1950, I stay the same. Go back down to 16, can't lose weight. 3 months at each try. You've adapted. It's kind of it's a bitch. It sucks. Currently, I can bulk at 3,000 calories. I can maintain my weight at 2,800 calories. And then I will maintain my weight when bulking. 2,800 calories, maintaining my weight. I break 28, I gain weight. I can drop all the way down to 2,100, and I'm still maintaining my weight. I know I've talked with a couple other people about that, and they have the exact same problem. It sucks. It's nice I get to eat all of the food when I bulk, but when I cut, I have to get low, and way low. And I have to get really low because I do minimal cardio. I actually just, not even me not liking it, I just don't have time. So I would just say go lower, increase your cardio. It depends. You could, at 135 pounds, I'd put you at, without knowing anything about you, just on that, you'd be approximately 1485 calories. That's without knowing how much cardio you're doing, how active you are, how tall you are, anything like that. So I would say you just need to go lower. You make a whole post. We can do a macro check for you too, Georgina. If you make a post in the group, we'll check those out. Anybody else? All right, guys. Oh, another one. Training question from Lucas. Just because I'm writing my food. Yeah, you can ask any question. It's fitness and nutrition. It's the first word. Yeah, if you guys want me to adjust your macros, make a separate post. I'm not going to do them here. James asked for macro check. I'm not going to do them in here. Make a separate post. If I don't get to them, somebody in the group will. One of the moderators, we watch them. We'll make sure your calories, but I just don't want to spend all the time doing all that. Her question was a little less detailed. James, I would give you actual macros, though. Her question was, why isn't she losing? You okay? I know Lucas had a question. Wait for Lucas's question to come up and answer any others, because I got to eat dinner. It's 7:30 here, and it is like 45 minutes till bedtime. All right, let's go over a topic while we're waiting for a question. Question came in before I could even find it. Lucas, how long do you usually stay in given rep ranges? Just general training for general fitness, solely tapering? Half a week of 3x5, 5x5, or a whole week of them? It depends. What I would do is look at your training per muscle group per day. So Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and you can undulate that rep range, that 3 to 5 Monday for upper body. Then next Monday for upper body, go 5x5. And then first Tuesday for legs, go at 4x10. And then the Tuesday after, you can go down to 3x5. I would go by muscle group, not by muscle group per week, not by the whole week, but the passing weeks. I hope that makes sense. If not, shoot me a DM and I can send you an image or something that explains it, like an Excel spreadsheet example. But I would look at muscle groups, not the actual week, not the entire week. Muscle groups in a weekly fashion. Perfect. Made sense. Thank God. Sometimes I ramble. All right, guys. So that is it. I'm going to wrap it up. I appreciate you guys coming in. If you have any comments, want me to improve on these, do less of them. You don't want to hear me. You want somebody else to do them. You want me to do more. I'm going to shut up the comments, but shoot me a message. And that's it. All right. So thank you very much, everybody. You have a comment, you have a question, it didn't get in, add it to make a post, tag me in it, and that's it. So thanks, guys. Have a good night.